You will click on my link and react to my video Forsen.
Without
I am
any
currently
oxygen,
using my
that
Jedi
is.
mind powers on you, Forsen.
No. I don't even feel bad. I told you. No more. I'll click your link because of the Jedi mind tricks, but no, I don't want to watch a 15-minute documentary. Sorry. Not right now. Should have saved it for another day. Video about a guy surviving 438 days on a small fisher boat alone.
This video is made possible by CuriosityStream. Watch any of their more than 2,000 documentaries for free by visiting curiositystream.com. And it's bigger than all, probably won't be beaten anytime soon.
Video about a guy surviving 438 days on a small fisher boat alone, Park.
And how his misadventure began. It was pretty small and not at all equipped for the nightmare that would come. It was basically a canoe with no roof or cabin, was only 7 meters long, and only had one small motor and a refrigerator.
Alright, that's very impressive. That is very impressive. We played a lot of survival games. Okay, I'm gonna watch this. Don't say anything more. I will not click. I repeat, I will not click.
For storing their fish. They knew that a storm was coming near the area, but fishermen in these parts of Mexico can earn enough money in a day to support themselves for an entire week. So they decided to take their chances and traveled 120 kilometers away from the coast to work. At 1 a.m., the storm hit them and was threatening to sink their boat. In a panic, the two men cut their fishing lines and dropped everything they catch and most of their gear overboard to make themselves more maneuverable. They were 6 hours away from the coast, so they traveled through the storm and the night in a desperate attempt to get back.
Was it 2 people?
By 7 a.m., they were only 24 kilometers
I bet
away
the one
from
guy
the
ate the other
coast
boat
and
guy.
could see mountains on the horizon. But then, awful luck struck
Banana
them,
Blast, I
and
think,
their
with tier
motor
3, man.
died. Without any paddles, oars, or sails,
Newbies,
the
Sith
unusually
Wars,
strong
Foster
wind
Care
began
62
pushing their
months.
boat back out towards the ocean. Their onboard radio still thankfully worked, however, so they frantically reported their position to their boss, who responded saying that he was coming, but their battery died and all they heard afterwards was silence. Imagine the frustration that they must have both felt in that moment as their radio died and all contact with the outside world with it. And as they watched the mountains in the horizon that they were so close to slowly disappear as their boat that they were trapped on gradually was pushed back out into the vast abyss. Their boss did organize a search party that looked for them for days, but
Please, Forsen,
their boat drifted
please watch
further
this
out into the
video.
vastness of
It
the
has
Pacific
only
and
4
got harder
minutes.
and harder.
Get well,
So
love
they
it, and
eventually
we will
were forced
get
to
some
give up.
good
Just
reactions
5
from
days
you.
later, the winds had already blown them 450 kilometers off the coast
link
before
anything either,
finally
so,
settling down. They were surrounded by nothing but ocean in every direction, and their boat was so small they knew that they probably would never be spotted from the air. They had no flare gun or any other way to signal for help other than by waving, so they knew that their chances of survival were going to be slim. They had no supplies left on board, so they were forced to catch tiny fish or birds that landed on their boat with their bare hands for food. They grabbed plastic bottles that they found floating nearby them and used them to collect rainwater for drinking water. But during long periods of no rain, they were forced to mostly drink the blood of turtles that they caught with their hands, or their own urine. Imagine going day after day, month.
What the fuck? The blood of turtles?
Welcome to Uganda.
What? I mean, I can see yourself drinking your own pee, right? But blood of turtles? I would never even have thought about that, right? You're on this boat, you're really thirsty, you're almost dead of thirst, but you don't think of drinking the blood of turtles.
After month in a tiny box with only
How do you even
one
come up with
other
that
person
shit?
to talk to, and the only other ways to entertain yourselves being catching fish or napping. It's easy to understand how somebody could go insane under these conditions, which, according to Alvarenga's story, his friend did. The other guy, Cordoba, gave up hope about 4 months into their isolation and became suicidal. He got sick from all of the raw food that they were eating and refused to eat, and eventually starved to death. Alvarenga was then all alone in the middle of nowhere with no other human in sight as far as the horizon could see. A tiny speck inside
I wonder
of
if
an
he ate his
enormous
friend.
Pacific. And as you can see from this shipping map, the Central Pacific where he was somewhere at is a very quiet part of the world. Ships rarely come through this area, but even still, he claims to have encountered one when he was alone. A cargo ship apparently passed right by him and 4 men on board spotted him and waved. But they just kept moving past him and never even bothered to stop.
Oh
Imagine how
man, that must be
frustrated
the
you would have been
worst.
if you were lost for months. You were all alone and you finally spotted rescue, but they just ignored you and kept on moving. 11 months in, and Alvarenga had traveled about 8,000 kilometers across the ocean in his tiny little boat. His clothes were shredded, and he only had a sweatshirt to protect himself against the sun.
Like, if I were on this boat,
Welcome to Uganda.
I would lean over the fucking edge of the boat, pretend to be unconscious or something, right? That way it's more likely for them to be like, oh shit, something is wrong, than if you're like waving, like, you know what I mean?
Finally, on the 30th of January 2014,
You would die day
he
two.
spotted coconuts bobbing around his boat and birds landing around him. He knew that land was near, and after drifting some more, he discovered an island that appeared to be uninhabited.
Oh,
it took him
shit,
half
here
a
we
day
go.
just to
Green
drift near
hell.
the shore when he finally jumped out of his boat and left its safety for the first time in over a year. He swam ashore and discovered
Okay,
a house, and
Forsen,
when he knocked,
you win this
made-
time. I might be old and my force powers are weak, but Forsen, I will return when the 2 suns on Tatooine are aligned. See you then, brother.
Alright. May the force be with you, man.
Contact with the first other humans since he left his village in Mexico 438 days ago, and after traveling nearly 11,000 kilometers. To put into perspective just how far away that is, imagine starting in a tiny boat in Lisbon, Portugal, and traveling less than 1 mile per hour until you drifted across the land to Hiroshima, Japan. Alvarenga ended up washing ashore on the Avon Atoll, which is the southern tip of the Marshall Islands
Whoa.
and one of the most remote spots on the planet. Had he missed this spot, the next likely stop for him would have been the Philippines, nearly 5,000 more kilometers away. And since it took him 438 days to travel roughly 11,000 kilometers, it probably would have taken him about 240 more days to hit the Philippines. Fortunately for him, though, he somehow landed on this tiny speck in the middle of the biggest ocean on Earth and got himself rescued because of it. Later, he was flown back to his home in El Salvador, where he published a book and got himself sued by the family of his friend who died on the boat, because they claimed that he probably ate him. So, the lesson is, even if you survive more than a year stranded at sea, you could still end up getting sued over something that you may or may not have actually done while you were out there. But if you're like me and the
Who
ocean
cares if they
terrifies you so
sue?
much
It
that
will
you'll
never
actually
go through.
But you want to learn more about the terrifying scale and the weird creatures that live there anyway, you can learn more from the comfort of your phone or PC in your own home
I mean,
by checking
it's-
out
it's-
Curiosity Stream next. Curiosity Stream
It's one thing if he murdered him, right? Or killed him and ate him. But it's another thing if you just ate him to survive. And either way, you can't prove shit. You can't prove shit. But that is so impressive. To survive on a boat. Just the water must be such an issue. Like, the water must be the biggest issue ever. And also catching fish with your fucking hand. Like, in an ocean. Like, what the hell? I don't know. I feel like the other guy, he must have thought it through when he decided to give up. Like, it's just impossible. And that was 4 months in. This guy went on for another fucking 12 months. Huh. Damn. Like, being stranded on an island is like 100 times better than this guy's situation. For real. Like, it's totally shit what he had to do. Totally shit. And then being stranded on an island is probably not that fun either. Not that fun either.